We had to wait a little bit longer for the BC Games game and Gen 1 to get finished on the EPL side of things, but once that has all been sorted out, we're going to be live with this game between BC Game and Illuminar. BC Game losing that game means they're out of EPL Division 1, but they can have full focus on competing in this tournament, of course, with only yet this matchup and the one from tomorrow potentially to come, right? Because the winner will face off against Gen 1 again, which would mean that BC Game would play in the time span of about 4 days. They would play 3 times against BC Game. Against Gen 1, already losing twice. Potentially in the grand finals of things, we will see that turnaround happen. Because it was a 2-0 previously for Gen 1 coming out. And now BC Game already taking one map. Potentially tomorrow, if they win against Illuminar, we will see them beat Gen 1 in the grand finals. But that's all to be discovered, of course, with this game live and ready. Let's take a look at that map Veto from this series between BC Game and Illuminar. What matches or what maps are we gonna see? You guys already saw a little bit of a hint in the chat, of course. Inferno and Vertigo are 2 maps that both teams don't like to play. Those are our insta bans. It's always been a ban for BC Game. Illuminar have played it in the past against En's Academy, for example. The map of Inferno squeezed through, which they lost very much on, which was a 13-5 loss on the map of Inferno for Illuminar. Ancient been picked, one of the strongest and most played maps out there for BC Game coming out. They've won it 8 times, only losing 3 in recent history. Whereas for the likings of Illuminar, they have a negative rating on it. 5 times they played it, only winning it 2 times. Including 1 win against Viperio this season of United21. Anubis is played by both of the sides, but BC Game, like we saw the game before against Gen 1, not always as strong on it. They've played it over the course of the last few weeks 15 times, 9 times a victory with 6 losses, including the one that they just played against Gen 1 or against Gun 5 with a 4-13 loss coming out. And as our final map, we would go to Dust 2, a map that both teams quite like to play, that BC Game have not lost this season of United21 yet. Whereas for Illuminar, it's been a map on and off. They've won it 4 times in this season as well. Picked it a few times. Endpoint lost. Ends Academy lost. Apogee lost. But BC Game won against Illuminar. They're trying to do so. We're going into the game, of course, right here, right now. These 2 teams already playing against each other on these exact maps going forward, which was where Illuminar wasn't the one coming out victorious. They took Anubis, but the rest went the way of BC Game. Let's take a look at what it will be looking like, of course, because Ancient is starting, like I said, the exact 3 maps that we see in a different order. Previously, Ancient was won fairly quickly by BC Game. Then Anubis went the opposite way. Illuminar took that one. And we're going to see if that is to be discovered right here as well. A team with a lot of potential. Tier 1 X players that just lost against Gen 1. Which also have some players playing on the biggest stages in the past. So not a shame to lose against Gen 1 necessarily. But you got to be careful about a team like Illuminar that has a certain style. And the pistol round will go the way of the Polish side. As with BC Game just playing their previous game, barely finished and having to get straight into this one, will be something that don't think they're all too happy about. They will just do it, they will just take it, and they want to continue having a little bit of a fight here in terms of playing these tournaments, all for preparation for the bigger stages. So now we're gonna see if there's any change about to happen. I'm not a new caster, Upsellos, but I did not cast too many United21 seasons yet. I casted back in season 9, 10 and 11. Then now back for like the last 2 seasons-ish. So it's been great. And some other things other tournaments that I worked on. Nice to meet you as well, man. Bc.Game playing a pretty nice style as of late. This map as well has been one to be quite fearful of if you're playing up against them. Again, I'm just trying to hint a lot towards that previous game that we saw from Bc.Game. If you looked at the EPL stream, they won against Gen 1, 13-9. So that means Illuminar should definitely be a team to follow suit, you would say. The only map that Bc.Game, besides having played it a lot, still have struggled on is Anubis. But kind of feel like Illuminar is somewhat beatable, to be honest. Feel like you would say, as the longer Bc.Game is going to play against each other, the better it will become. The better Guardian will get himself into the game again. Jacob, Lecro, all players that need to have a great fundamental. And then having the new sort of youngster players around it, like a Prime Taps and a Sasanido, that are really wildcard players. They either have an incredible game or they have a pretty bad one. And if they are not there to frag, you can have a JK insane game, but it just won't be making the cut properly. And on the side for Illuminar, of course. You also got yourself a PHR and a Furlan that go and play in the scene for a very long time already. Now with some of the duos from the XPGE Thorough, you would say there's something to offer. They have already beaten quite a bit of opposition right in the lower bracket. They win against the Pod G, then losing out to NZK or Bc.Game. To then win against Ens Academy and Anonimo in the Polish Derby. All three maps went to overtime or 13-11. But Illuminar came out victorious this game. Should be a long one as well. But I feel like if we're getting to those closer affairs, Bc.Game isn't going to go as easy on them as maybe an Anonimo did. Bc.Game already picking up a second round here. After the pistol that they lost, they've established dominance. They're firmly holding on to Illuminar's side. Do you think can BC 2-0? I think they have the capability of it. But the only thing I'm quite concerned about is Anubis. I feel like Ancient is a forgiven for Bc.Game to pick up. They've already done it in a very convincing fashion in the past. But they already have lost against Illuminar in the past. And if you look at the Gen 1 game, they really weren't able to put too much resilience on their T side, which is kind of where you want to go with this. Exactly, I feel like Anubis is going to be a little bit of a weird map. Again, Bc.Game, if you looked at the game against Gen 1, they get 4 rounds on the CT side, which you would usually say, like, okay, this is okay. They pick up the pistol, the follow-up, and the third. Makes it to 8-7, and then they're losing the game 9-13. You would say that the T side is so dominant, but they just couldn't get things going as soon as the full buys came around. And I honestly don't know what side of Bc.Game we're gonna get this time. The opening fight has been found from Bileni. Furlan drops towards the B side. The Pistols are trying to go aggressive. They've actually managed to do quite good, at least for the entries. At least for the opening fights. Still, an advantageous spot here for Bc.Game coming out. Good shot from Sasanido. Jacob holding on for the rotations towards the A side. That's done successfully. PHR is running down. And Bc.Game will put up a third on the board. Wow, we are incredibly far behind. The stream is incredibly far behind to the actual game, I see now. Oh, I thought that we were far behind, but that's not the case. Not really. Is a 3-1 scoreline though, with a full buy now from Illuminar. Their first chance to put up a good fight. If Bc.Game would be able to take it, 2.9k back on into the pocket from Illuminar, so not too much to work with. That can be a very good and easy start here for the Bc.Game side. Great trade there from Lekro coming out, while Katsu tries to chase him. Lekro is aware, that's well played. Together with Prime Taps holding on to the smoke push. Anticipation is just great. Bc.Game have managed to find the man advantage again. No, I'm again, as I'm from the Netherlands. I'm Dutch boy cast, which means in the Netherlands we are not capable of betting on esports, so... it will mostly decline us from joining any of those sites. So I don't have a bet on this game. Yeah, it will... If I go to Thunderpick, it will basically say your region is blocked. So... And again, it's not like I want to. I'm just enjoying casting without having to deal with stuff like that. So I'm happy with the way it is. The 4-1 scoreline is found. I mean, that is, I guess, a possibility. On the other hand, if I see how down bad some of you guys are, I don't want to get myself into that, you know? To be honest. Some people in the chat are ridiculous. You not, right? You are exceptions. You're exceptions. You're fine. 4-1 scoreline here, of course, for Bc.Game onto the T side of things. Opening fight from PHR goes their way. The only M4 that was being safe from the previous round. But with that aggression, you would think Illuminar is going to go ahead and take middle. That's what Bc.Game responds to accordingly. Look at her playing up the B ramp. Delaney waiting. Going back to the short side with PHR backing him up. There comes the 5-7 kill again. Advantageous spot still. The side from Illuminar, although they don't have the bomb plant with them, of course. They gotta try and retake with no kit available. They need some time. Sassanito to get it with Lekro on the side itself. Trying to hold on, managing to do so. Great shot from North Macedonian. Another chase from Lekro comes out. Missed shots from Spave. Still needing time, still having to run. Illuminar won't have the time for it. And with that, Bc.Game puts themselves up 5-1 here towards the T side. The round initially was played so well. The 5-7 is just a broken pistol as of a whole. But it's not enough. And Illuminar loses their prowess. Katsu is going to save an M4. But that's all she wrote for Bc.Game. Illuminar's game to win, Bc.Game's game to lose, as they are definitely most experienced on the server here. Previous time winning against Illuminar also on this map. Man advantage, make it 2. Shots fired through the CT wall, as there's definitely And Illuminar having an advantageous spot. Oh, that's Spava taken. Guardian is holding, but does he suspect Blaney to be there on the left-hand side still? Gonna start falling away, trying to clear Donut here. Guardian could have a chance at a little bit of a spray now. That's another kill coming out in favor of Casio. Falling away. Blaney's been seen now coming out of Temple. Leaves Sasanito left. The defuse happening. Killing Temple, then spraying onto the side. He finds it. The clutch has been found. Both down to 1 point of health. Provides Bc.Game with yet another round. It's ridiculous. From the EU mix. And Sasanito to do it, of course. I think that was played quite well, right? Just starting on the diffuser. And that guy from Donut, or from Temple, I should say, has a chance. In this situation, he clears Temple first before spraying on the diffuser. That wasn't going to shoot him down either way. Although it's pretty risky in terms of the timer ticking down from the defuse. He happened to make it happen in the time necessary for it. And so ensuring that you're going to have a tight halve for sure. Thank you, Thordles. Turtois. Wait, how do I say it? How do I say your name properly? Good shot from Jacob. To open things up, of course. Second. Originally found as he tries to move his way into the red room. A little bit of an awkward fight here onto Furlan. Eventually catching him off. He was going to die anyway. You waste too much bullet. We're paying the price for that one. Another headshot onto Electro. Could be found, but the side of B is immediately taken over. And so an ensured half win on the Bc.Game side. And as we see, an advantageous spot into that second half is guaranteed. A double upsetter from Illuminar. I gotta say, I don't really feel like this is all too necessary for them going for this, but, well, they want an AWP on B, they want an AWP on Donut. Well then, not playing with anybody towards the beginning of middle, not an AWP towards A. Kind of feel like it could be a waste, but Donut is still being played. Is Spava gonna walk his way back? Now he is, after the kill achieved on Jacob. Norwegian falls. Leaves Spava to rotate. PHR to peek on his contact. When is PHR gonna go for that swing? Here's a bit of steps. Lacro jumps. That initiates the fight from PHR. Getting traded by Guardian, but still a lot to offer here. A lot to ask from Guardian himself, the Slovakian. Cannot make it happen yet. Well, Sasanito will go for a lurk. Might provide Guardian with a chance to move his way to B in the first place. That's a kill. B side is still taken. Guardian not rushing yet. Wants to cross mid safely while Rem still has to be cleared. Sasanito might have other plans though. Another clear towards Cave is mandatory. Swinging through. Can't get it. Wow. Furlan also taken. Now your B side is completely lost. Blaney trying to scrape up the pieces through anything he can. But with him being seen, that allows and opens up the door for an A play. Spava has just rotated to window with the bomb on A. This is played so well from Bc.Game. Rotations accordingly. Information called and Sasanito. That was called upon one of the newest youngster talents. Playing with the experience on his side, is now going to go for this lurk to find it potentially. I mean, Guardian, you can also just shoot him down through the smoke and the final kill can also go your way. This is ridiculous. No chance originally, you would say, for Bc.Game in this one. But a 2 versus 5 goes to the side of Bc.Game. And why not just rub salt in the wound? They're going to go for more play from the top of ramp as well. A mid squeeze coming out for Bc.Game creates a fine opportunity Well, Illuminar goes for a Hail Mary force here. I really don't expect this to be... Don't expected this to be working, or didn't, rather. As it's already ongoing. Kind of feel like Illuminar is trying desperately to find like one round to find at least something, but things just aren't working. The spray from Sasanito, taking 30 bullets there to kill 2, but it's exactly what was necessary. So one more that is needed to be found. Bc.Game ensuring 9 onto the T side. And it is a lineup that is built for the future, built for success. Every single time you're seeing them play, you expect a little bit more. A little bit of a one-up from what they've shown last time. And I feel like that is kind of the sort of signal that we should be getting from Bc.Game. Playing almost 50 maps over the last like 2 weeks in terms of officials. Every single day they've had 1 or 2 series that they played. Next to that, potentially practice. Next to that, potentially just showing things up. And although the organization needs them to show, they're also here to improve for hopefully the bigger stages in the future. And I think Bc.Game does quite well with expanding into esports, right? They do have some partnerships with like Leicester City already to be like their big shirt partner. Leicester City that yesterday got a win victory against the West Ham United. For the people that watch football, that's a pretty impressive win. With the not playing all too well West Ham United, but in general just played it well, getting all of the players that are kind of beloved, right? I think Lecro, Jacob, and Guardian are 2 of the people that can do no wrong, kind of, right? That are quite harmless in a way. Guardian always quite beloved, a lot of love when he came back. Jacob always that friendly face that went over to play in the Aussie scene as well, a little bit. Australia, where you kind of feel like it's a lot of fans that you can gain from that part of the map, part of the world, but also having just a great aim. When you talk about it, 2 of the fine talents, kind of making sure you cover all the scenes. You got a German, you got a North Macedonian. Not only just the pieces and the puzzle pieces found together, also marketing-wise, just nicely done. With Lecker, of course, one of the players that is actually still standing from the OG's lineup, sort of. Not OG in terms of OG the orc, but you know what I mean. Godsend Fnatic, where he won some trophies with EM Katowice and with Fnatic in 2018. Just to name some. Two times the quarterfinals in the major. Legend stage twice. Or once he went out in the group stage with Godsend, just to name a few. Ultimately, nicely played, and Bc.Game, double digits has been found. Providing them with a chance to go for 13 in no time. Felt like this game was gonna be a close one, to be honest, but like Bc.Game's games have always kind of been. Mostly all maps going to both teams double digits, trying out some new things. I kind of feel like right now, with the day sort of being quite long already for Bc.Game, they're like, let's just play to our ultimate best. Let's not start trying all too much out. Just play to our strengths and we'll make it happen. Yeah, there's still not really an insurance in that way. Can still be a turnaround from Illuminar if they play their cards right. Jacob, though, required to step up. Does manage to find the bomb. with Belaney taking out the final player. Puts Illuminar up to 2. The pistol round and the final one. So we're seeing 10 straight from Bc.Game in the middle. And so switching to the second half with a CT side from Bc.Game still to play. Does this mean we're going to see some greatness on their side? It's still to be determined, of course. Ultimately, their CT side has been their better side when it comes to their recent HLTV performances. So we could say that they've something going for them. Winners, of course, from the European Pro League 2nd Division. Now out of the group stage 0-2 in Division 1. While also playing ESG Advanced Top 16. It's all starting to fall together, kind of, for the Bc.Game side. Well, like we said before, still having a lot to offer for the future of Counter-Strike. 4 players ready to push A. 4 players ready to hold. Bc.Game pushing. Oh, Prime Taps together with Lecro. Clearing house. That is a round done in 20 seconds or even less. Right now 20 seconds have passed, but before that we knew the round was over already. Unless Belaney can go ahead and take a little bit of work. Can do a little bit more. But an 11-2 should be easily found. Providing us with, yeah, we can call it a victory for the side of Bc.Game. I feel like I'll go ahead and say that. If Belaney doesn't clutch a 1 versus 5, though. Because that is still in the works, potentially. Never mind. Guardian shuts it down. The headshot taken. Puts 11 on the board. What a fine pistol round that was. Prime Taps with 3 kills. And that's a replay-worthy play. 1, 2, 3. Help from Lecro for the 4th. And from that point onward, the round was a complete destroyed pile. That puts Bc.Game in very good hands. Smoke down deep, Sasanito. Lecro on his tail with the MP9s. Trying to garden. Not only guarding. Also trying to take care of things very fast. Playing for an overtime here is what Illuminar is doing. They know how far they're down. They're mostly just focusing on getting prepared for that second map, I feel like. In this case, you shouldn't be going for much more. Good shot from Jacob coming out. Spraying down for a triple kill. And the rest is history. It's 12 for Bc.Game. Running through, at least checking, trying. The shot fired from Furlan. Opening things up nicely. Great shot from Prime Taps. He tries going for more. The MP9 helping. Lecro tries to shut it all down. He's managed to get a little bit of an advantageous spot. Onto the side from Bc.Game. Bomb still dropped towards the T-spawn. Katsu and Belaney both split up, although the same jersey from their previous team. And so all teammates playing together. This one, they're not on the same page, but they are finding kills one by one. Which leaves us to have a little bit of a chance still. No chance for Guardian. And so Illuminar, although far down, still having a small bit of a chance. Let's just say there isn't much to offer here for the Illuminar side. More as just preparing themselves for a little bit of something. Good shot from Lekro. Opening kill with the AWP. This could be the end. As the entries are found. Still, of course, a Deagle and an MP9 left. So that should technically be hard weapons to get the necessary frags with. AK gets picked up. Katsu is seen. Oh, Sasanito. Oh. Tries to play like the bugger inside of him. Bait and switching. Eventually not peeking. Advantageous spot now. As Illuminar with that might be providing an opportunity for something. Oy. Flash from Jacob. Plant will be made, so there is a shot at this. Laney PHR double peeking towards short. Making it a 2 versus 2. Now the time is going to tickle down. Well, Bc.Game is still going to go for this retake here. I'm sure of that. Guardian will come within seconds. Has a kit as well, but is taken to the hands of Belaney. Up still out. Lekro with one. Now trying to run up. Close up fight with the up. Needs to be one. He can't do it. A big green. There's still around more for Illuminar. The more they get, the better it is for their motivation, their momentum into the second half, or into the second map. But it's still not going to be great, no matter what way you put it. PHR getting knifed here as well in a round that you need to win, although it's up against 5 pistols. Still, the pistols are doing some good work. How is this a double kill from the USPs? Oh my, the nades though. Doing magnificent damage. Putting up a good fight. Prime taps trying to swing here with the USP, I feel like. He's holding tight. There's no swing will come out yet. Trying to take down the upper here, but Spava will have and knows something we don't. Some taps from Furlan here. Just needs to hit the right spot to find prime taps in that engagement. As he is waiting to now go on and die. That's prime tap saying bye-bye. The round's going into the pockets of Illuminar. As they are the ones having one more added to the tally now. Flashbang send in. Jacob trying to run, making sure he stays alive. Prime taps will be taken in the end. Illuminar is scrambled all around the map, but it's working wonderfully for them. Advantageous spot for Illuminar, although Bc.Game has a little bit more going for them. Guardian swinging towards Cave as well. That's 2 from the Slovakian. In such a moment as well, with the advantage not in their sight, he draws it back. That leaves all the space to be completely stripped from them. Spava now anticipating on the lurk, but too late to capture on Lacro. PHR be peaked as well. Bc.Game takes heads-on fight, which is the ending of this first map. They took it. That's something we sort of already expected. We sort of already saw coming. But there's still a whole lot more to cover for us into the next map. It will be a 13-5 victory for the Bc.Game. They're going to be going into Anubis, a map that was previously lost against Illuminar the last time we saw these teams play against each other. So do they have what it takes to take it this time? Or are we going to go ahead and straight up pull it to a third map? There's only one way to find it out, and that's to send it to Anubis, and that will happen after a short break. Be sure to stick around. In about 11 minutes, we should start with Anubis. Here we are on the second map of play. It will be Anubis of all things, where Bc.Game just lost their final map on against Gen 1 to be out of contention for the EPL Division 1. They're still trying to get a victory to qualify for the grand finals, for a rematch against Gen 1 again, of all things. A very good opportunity to do so. With the entry found here, a not so great T-half it was for Bc.Game. Little bit of struggles they were finding there on the second map of things, and with a map up against Illuminar, it looks to be a different beast they have to conquer, they have to overcome. First round goes their way. Pistol on the T side, which can very well be the start of something really great. The start of greatness. With a lot of opportunities to potentially get another match against Gen 1. How much would that mean? A good start here. That would be necessary. Three Mach-10s in play against 2 AK, or 2 AKs. They swarm the B side. A mid-stack from Illuminar has been played. That's not where Bc.Game is heading, so a site that's taken. Might get him to be very nice ahead. Another sort of Astralis stack towards CT now being thrown, but no saves there from Bc.Game. In CCT, Koi has just managed to go to a third map as well against Gaming Gladiators. So that is pretty interesting to take a look at as well. Thus, be mostly concerned about the remainder of this particular series. A 2-0 start. For Bc.Game. As in the full buy rounds against Gen 1, that's where the pain started to form. That would be this round. It could be Bc.Game just continuing to show, and on Ancient, I think it hasn't been that I saw Bc.Game, at least in the first half, that they played that strong. I haven't seen that before. It is a new Bc.Game in my eyes. Against Gen 1, it was obviously a little different, which was just a few minutes ago, so it's not like they've just got a good day or something, but a good series it might in particularly be. Good kill there from Guardian to open things up. Jacob trying to chase Spava there, going into CT. He's going to try and wrap towards B potentially, with the rotations called soon. Guardian puts another one to the tally. That is going to bring the B side, or the A side, under control for Bc.Game. Jacob going CT. Doesn't win this fight against Belaney. And with that, maybe Illuminar thinks they have a shot at going for this retake. But I don't think they are. Bc.Game goes up 3-0. They're starting things off quite solid here towards the T side of things. Great finding there from Lecro. This puts Spaffa down. And so, 3-0. Has been taken by Bc.Game. Oh, even one more kill leaves Illuminar with almost no money to work with This is such a good start for Bc.Game. Previously, Illuminar came out victorious, but like I said, a different storm for Bc.Game that has breezed on through. Looks to put them even further ahead, potentially. As a 4-0 looks to be a forgiven from that point onwards. We're gonna see how much Bc.Game has to find. Sometimes Illuminar on particularly the CT side having good crossfires to work with. On the T side, I've been amazed at how they've maneuvered around the map, particularly with their sort of hand-in-hand method, always making sure you have two players at a specific spot. But I feel like if Bc.Game just plays their cards right, they could most certainly do good work. Previous time Illuminar played against Bc.Game, it was after the pistol and the 4 in a row, Illuminar to take all the remaining pieces onto the CT side, on the T side, where although Illuminar got quite lucky in some of the closer rounds, with the most opening kills going to the way of Bc.Game, sometimes still getting thrown back by Illuminar, particularly on the T side. A 9-3 half it was on the T side, but that's not the side where they're starting on. Bc.Game haven't gone for this to be their map pick. They've left it to Illuminar to pick it. And they're looking to go down 4-0. Just saving their armors for the next. So it is 4-0 for Bc.Game. Do they have a chance to take this one in 2? Or is a third map needs to be called upon? That's the question still on our minds. What will Illuminar do when they have that full buy to work with? When Spava is going to be on the op? The answer will come short. Shortly, I should say. Sassanito working his way through Con. Bc.Game moves up towards the B side here with a fight from long. It's Lekro finding one. Swing that will come out, joining close. Prime taps. Opening towards Furlan. Now Spava, like I said, that needs to be called upon with the op. Is required and drops the bomb with it as well. Great shot from Katsu from the long end. And Illuminar, that does break Bc.Game a bit by bit. More frags going their way. And Jacob, that is going to have to do it all by himself here. A 1 versus 4. Originally, in terms of HP alive, leaves Jacob left all by himself. Final kill comes from PHR, just waiting on the A side for him to walk right into his crosshair. And with that, it's at least a round for Illuminar. After a pretty nice recovery was found. Leaves us with round 6 to be an important one. It's for Bc.Game, their final buy before going into economy troubles. And they need a good T-half against Illuminar. And with that needed, the opening goes to Sassanito, who's going to make a second come through. Beautiful double there. As Spava is good for a trade on middle. But where do you go without the advantageous spot to your side. Very, very tough this is. Still up. Lurk through long from Lekro. Bomb ready to be picked up towards the A site. When PHR is waiting on A himself. Jacob going from the T-spawn here. Ooh, Prime Tap's losing. He probably thought Sassanida was watching it. To no avail. That's B taken over. Although Bc.Game is not too assured of that themselves. Don't think they expect it to be clear. The up shot connecting. He's making it 2 as the second shot will also be found. Creating still a chance for Illuminar in some way. With the site taken and the bomb down. Retaking is the objective for Illuminar. 2 from CT coming. Spava might have seen him. Sassanito tries to swing. Can't find PHR. Jacob knows that both are on the CT site. Oh my goodness, what a shot from Spavak coming through. Connects the ARP onto J. Try to make it happen. Not as strong as the aim on the Illuminar side, apparently. And so the young ARPer besting Bc.Game in that engagement. Only 21 years old he is, of course. But has already shown some good plays, left, right and center. Best performing player alongside Bileni on the lineup. With both Bileni and Katsu joining 6 and 4 months each ago. With Spavak, of course, only 2 months. So Illuminar still hasn't been together for all too long. With Furlan and PHR being there for a little bit longer of time. Kind of forces in the Polish scene, always on different lineups, different times. Argo, particularly known for. With Furlan playing there for almost 6 years. A starter, then a little bit of time for a substitute, and another year of playing. With a month of benching time, so yeah. Ultimately, that's what was done. That's how things were previously. Bileni pushes up towards B. Falls down to the hands of Jacob with the low buy for Bc.Game. Initially not looking all too fruitful. You do have an opportunity with the entry found and the man advantage. The smoke that is faking towards the B side for potential A take with only PHR waiting there. This might allow Bc.Game to get ahead of themselves real fast. Guardian. Did he see PHR? No. But the trade should come. The trade is there. And that provides you with a chance on a round that originally just had a bunch of pistols to work with. They're now finding a 3-on-1 to clean things up very quickly. No op kill coming out. That's a saved AWP. That's AKs picked up when you started with just a bunch of pistols. That is a really good round to win for Bc.Game. And it might turn this game into a far less exciting one than originally anticipated. Than originally expected. Which is also, I mean, fine in a way. We aren't complaining. Lekro, great hold. Furlan, Katsu, both taken on the cusp of a few seconds. Sassanito already on B, and he rubs salt in the wound with a knife. PHR, he thought he had a fun time. He thought he just cleared B, but someone was already waiting on the site. Bomb has gone down. Spava will try and look for a potential way to get something going. I gotta say, he's actually going quite far to the bomb. I thought he was gonna try and go for a ninja, but that's an AWP drop. That's Guardian getting another kill on the board as well, and a 6-2 scoreline for Bc.Game to be had. And in this next round, when playing up against pistols, you shouldn't find yourself having too much trouble getting the bomb down in a retake. This is a map that Bc.Game has practiced on a lot from the previous time against Illuminar. Maybe thinking back to what was going on in the previous time, improving on that. But mostly, when you have a chance to play and start on the T side rather than CT, getting an early controlling point. That's also why teams usually like to start on the CT side, right? Most maps are a little bit CT-sided in a way. And then getting an early grip on the game itself is definitely something that you would want in order to, get comfortable in the early stages and then finish it off on the more weaker side when you have that leading position, making it easier to play on those sides. Because you're already having some momentum with you. You've already just played a half where you're feeling good. So you don't have to necessarily make a comeback. You can always play up front. Far better for you. And that's why this T-side start means so much to Bc.Game. I initially expected them to play a little bit less good on the T-side. Just looking at their Gen 1 game being quite awful in a way. After taking 3 rounds on the T-side, making it to an 8-7, you would say that with 7-8, right, that was the scoreline, you could control the pace and pick up the T-side in a correct way, but they lost almost every round ever since. But that is a team that is playing on a little bit of a different tier, I feel like. Different caliber than Illuminar is. Jacob and Guardian, 2 of the most experienced players here on the server, trying their utmost to hold it down, and they will. Both finding 1 each. And so, a half win already found for Bc.Game. Jacob running back. PHR, 1-for-1 trade. .25 seconds still left here. The round is still looking quite good. Lecro, what a double kill that is from the Swede. Opens up a rotation called from Furlan. Spava, but the hold on middle is great from Jacob. Making sure you have that lurker in play. And now you have an AWP in a clutch. Not the weapon for the job, I gotta say. And with that, It is 8. Eight is found for Bc.Game. Controlling the pace of this game. Really nice. And I would say as well, just kind of forcing Illuminar to not always know what's going on. Control from Furlan all the way water, but prime taps aware only. Furlan pushing as well into water. Katsu looking for it. Kill. Found onto Sasanido. Guardian holds on. Good shot from Belaney to hold on to B as the rotations for Bc.Game were pretty obvious that they were going towards the B side. So with him in play. Spava gets the kill into Jacob. Lekro looking for 2. Can't get it. Oh my goodness, Lekro! Yeah, never mind. A1 versus 3. That is absolutely ridiculous from Lekro. Good shot from Jacob to start things off. Spava. Jacob finding success through the smoke with a second. Furlan. Oh, that's nicely played. PHR finding prime taps. Now only a few remain here with PHR and Belaney. Both on each side. The playing together sort of style, the aggression from Illuminar, it's not done simultaneously. And it's just not working out all too well. Belaney will be taking down Guardian. And double digits looks very nicely found here for Bc.Game. Oh, what a nice final shot. Bc.Game controlling the game and every single block. It's been a very nice series to watch so far, but it's definitely been one where I kind of feel like Bc.Game is just excelling, finally showing us what the real Bc.Game could look like on paper, potentially. in the future with their chance to go to whatever stage or whatever tier of Counter-Strike they can in fact get. Right? You're not immediately going to talk about like tier 1, but as soon as there's more like open qualifiers and close qualifiers, they can show it up against like tier 2, which could lead to some qualifications to some of the bigger stages and such, which I kind of feel like they're preparing themselves for. On Valve ranking, only still 109th in the world. But there's more events right to come with the Blast and all, where there should be open qualifiers as well, where they could show themselves up. So that's exactly what they're trying to go for. ESL Challenger League, that would have been a good beginning, that they haven't found just yet. A split towards mid into Temple and then B. Usually you would see some players going beach onto A, which is something that Illuminar has done in the past, but with Prime Taps not finding anything, that kind of doesn't allow for any fake to come. Means there's just a fight going to happen. And with that, the third will go to Illuminar by the looks of things. It's not going to be a easy retake, or even one that they're looking to go for, I feel like. Should be all she wrote. Well, Illuminar is controlling the T side. Was where they previously shined on as well against Bc.Game. The pistol would have been just one to immediately shut it down. Which this will make the series, or the game in particular, just a little bit more nice. Thank you so much, Illuminar, for doing that. But I feel like when the full buy and stuff is coming around, oh, that's not gonna happen now. They're gonna play the short game, or try to play the short game. I think this is not smart, but they can immediately shut down Illuminar, but you got so many rounds to go for. Just play 1 or 2 full buys and you're good, kind of, right? You're good to go. I feel like this kind of opens up the door for a comeback way too faster than it should be. But hey, it's their decision, not mine. Up close, Jacob. Trying to force the issue, would think will be found, but no kill achieved just yet. Illuminar 4 to 5. Guardian tries jumping down. Oh wow, Guardian with the P250. This round looked over. It is PHR. And Belaney left. P250 looking for more. Guardian can't find it. And a fourth is taken. Come back from the polls with an eco to follow. After that, we'll see the first full buy round, where Bc.Game is gonna have that opportunity to show themselves off once and for all. Could shut down the Illuminar side. They tried to keep their economy low. That would mean some pistols would have to get some kills, right? Previously, Guardian did quite good with a P250. Getting like 2 kills with him. Left only 2 players alive from Illuminar. That didn't cause them to have too much money. And this is already the first kill. The second. Look at that. Even though this round is still one where Illuminar should have the opportunity to take it. Should have the upper hand. It's already 2 kills going their way. If they find a third, that is more than enough. 2 is also fine. And with that, it will be 5 for Bc.Game. Double digits. And now the first full buy. Which, again, Illuminar have a chance to win. Their economy is not all too good, but yeah, Bc.Game has been the better of the two throughout the whole series. Wouldn't be surprised if they just simply take 3 in a row and win the game now. That's obviously the questions that need to be answered. Great fight here for Jacob into middle. Goes for a heads-up fight. Will be taken. Entry kill goes to Illuminar. This has not happened a lot in the previously. We saw Anubis being played. Bc.Game had a lot of times the advantage going, but they can still fight back from a disadvantage as well. Shot to Spava will connect, leaves him down to 15 health. There's a little spray from Lekro coming out. Both players that are low are still left on the side from Illuminar. So this is going to be an easy round, it looks like. Spava could still find a 1 versus 3, but gets peeked by the one and only Guardian, who puts the side from Bc.Game up to 11. Not the best of rounds from Illuminar. An opening fight onto middle, then they kind of look like they were going into fights thinking they were going to sort of win them already. Thinking that the round was basically gone their way. I mean, I gotta say, if you look at the statistics, a opening fight has definitely provided Illuminar with a lot in the past. Previous time, like even a disadvantage wasn't always a loss for Illuminar. It doesn't mean that you can freely just run around the map and an entry ensures you around, but still felt like it kind of. Like that was the approach in the previous round. We find an entry, now we're free to do whatever. This round, it's for all the marbles, kind of. If Bc.Game wins this one out, would mean Illuminar is back to pistols and we could have a 13-5, 13-5. Dangerous as it is, as it can be. Let's see if that result will come. Looks like Illuminar was originally setting up for a B play to win Con, ready to swing. Well, there's also 3 from Bc.Game, including 2 fighting for Con. Sassanito has held it down quite nice. Now going for the heads up play. Takes down 2. That's both of the Con players falling. Means you have all eyes on main. Sure, Spava finds 1. But Sassanito is still standing. Jacob's waiting. Can Sassanito find another? It's just a tag. Lekro joining the party. With if Illuminar wants to rotate, a lot of steps that need to be made. There's a run from Katsu coming out. But Lenny is still left standing here. Guardian has in the meantime tried to take space over A main. He's holding with the op. Lekro. Ooh, he goes out in B main. This is great. If he doesn't leave and a bomb will go down, he will hear the plant, he will hear the tap. Which is going to create an opportunity for an instant retake. There's the plant happening. Lekro hears it. Rotation's called. He's going to try to deny. Tries to get Belaney when he's still switching weapons. And now he knows final player is coming. Con. The Guardian is leaping in. He had already taken a lot of space A main, so a fast rotation was easy for him. Catching Belaney by surprise puts Bc.Game up 12. And looking at the buy to follow from Illuminar, it isn't going to be all AKs. It is going to be only 1 AK max for PHR. The rest should be Galils or less. Which really provides us with a chance to repeatedly find a 13-5. And yeah, we knew from the start that this game was going to be hard for Illuminar. We knew from the start that Gen 1 and Bc.Game were the 2 top dogs when it comes to this tournament. Although, world ranking wise, it didn't show yet. Bc.Game have definitely gone up the ranks, right? In the start of the season, they were 125th. Now, they're 83rd in the world. Gen 1, 115. Now, they're 96th in the world. The players, X Tier 1, means that you're simply just going to show up and be in that top 1 level for sure. Now, the next battle would be going to top 50. And Bc.Game, the winner of their grand finals, will probably go there a little bit sooner, although already lost twice against Gen 1, including once in this season. There will be a rematch unless Illuminar gets 4 kills in a minute. Molly burning him to a crisp. Prime Ted finding it. The bullets and the Molly doing good enough. There's another kill into Katsu, and now it's PHR in a 1 versus 3. So we are going to get a rematch of Gen 1 versus Bc.Game. Gen 1 took them down twice. The Frenchmans that beat them in EPL Division 1. That beat them in United21. And now Bc.Game has a chance to get a 3rd times the charm type of moment. And oh, PHR though. Okay, never mind. The op will find it. 13-5, 13-5. We got the two strongest teams still standing in the grand finals. They were also in the upper bracket finals. There's no lower bracket sort of mystery coming out because Illuminar just simply couldn't find any momentum when it comes to this game. We know our grand final. It's Bc.Game versus Gen 1. And that will be, like I said, another rematch. In previous time, it was a 2-1 going the way of Gen 1. And in United21, a 2-0. Also, in the European Pro League 2nd Division, they played against each other with Bc.Game winning. So first, Bc.Game took the victory 2-0. Then Gen 1 took the victory 2-0. Then Gen 1 took the victory 2-1 in the European Pro League Division 1. And now we're going to see them play in the grand finals of all things of the United21 season. With still later today Gen 1 playing against Fireflux. I would definitely try to look into that. I won't be your caster tomorrow, but I'm interested to see how that momentum shakes. And against Fireflux, a team that's also in the build-up phase, has ex-tier 1 players inside. It will be a great show match to see what Gen 1 really has to offer. And I would also really like to invite you guys to watch tomorrow, because again, a lot of storyline to be built to this final point. Who will walk away with the victory? Is it going to be Gen 1? Or will it be Bc.Game doing so? Will they break the streak of 2 wins in a row for Bc.Game, or for Gen 1 up against Bc.Game now? Or will it be 3 in a row that the Frenchmen are going to be able to take? Inviting you guys for tomorrow, because that's when we will continue with another day of United21 action, with the next season already getting prepared as we speak. 8th of December, the start of season 24 of the United21 as well. But first, grand finals tomorrow. So I hope to see you there. I won't be there, but I will be there in the chat cheering on to see if we're going to have a third mapper, or if it's going to be a 2-0 for either side. Until tomorrow, ciao guys.